everybody. It's another episode of Southern Shadows and Dust. We're sitting here on Dugout Lane in Canoe, Alabama, just a little bit to the east of the railroad bridge. Back in June 15th of 1922, one of the deadliest train accidents in Alabama history up until that point happened right around this area. Story goes a passenger train, the number 4, was headed this way, and there was a fruit packing shed behind us right over here. It's believed to have been along these tracks, and there was a railroad spur that went into it, and there was a switch. And for those that may not know railroad terminology and such, the switch was how you push freight cars into that little trestle to up into that fruit packing house in order to pack it with fruit. Well, what had happened was that work had been going that day, and there was a tag out procedure that was supposed to be done, and the laborer blamed the foreman and the foreman blamed the laborer. But either way, when the passenger train come through that day about 3:30 wide open, it basically hit the switch, went into the fruit packing house, instantly killed a 12-year-old boy, and seriously injured a fellow by the name of Bill Hardy. There were several on the train that was injured. There were people that were, the train come to a sudden stop. They said it looked like a carpenter's ruler. Everything was crunched up. Several people were injured. Several of the crew jumped as they saw the train about to run into the fruit packing house. There was people thrown under the seats. They said there was luggage thrown up and down the railroad where it happened. And then you had a circumstance where when the news got out of what had happened, people from all over came to collect their relatives and find their people that were thrown out. Doctors from Atmore, Canoe, Flomaton converged on the scene to offer treatment. Even the Boy Scouts came out and helped out. Continuing on with our discussion about this train wreck, on the Foley newspaper, the Onlooker, June 22nd, 1922, the headline was "One is killed and several injured in L&N wreck. Fast passenger train runs into open switch about 3 miles north of Canoe. One boy was killed, one man probably fatally injured, and a number of persons slightly injured this afternoon when the Louisville and Nashville passenger train number 4 split a switch at Alberta Siding 3 miles north of here. William F. Dundren, 12 years of age, an employee of the Hilton Farm, was instantly killed, and Bill Hardy, foreman at the Hilton Farm, was so badly injured that little hope is entertained for his recovery. Others injured were John Mullen, an engineer of Montgomery, slightly injured about the head; F.L. Farrell, Pullman conductor, Birmingham, injuries to left leg; Charles E. Cotlet, railway mail clerk, New Orleans, severely cut about the head; George Carter, Negro fireman, Mobile, scalded; C.S. Hill, Negro porter, New Orleans, injuries to the back. The switch was open, and the terrific speed of the locomotive carried the engine and practically the entire train off the track and into the shed. At the time of the wreck, approximately 15 persons were working in the shed. The locomotive, after striking the shed, turned turtle and headed south. The engineer and fireman jumped from the engine, struck the shed. Farrell was injured when trying to help passengers from the coaches. 2 freight cars on the siding were demolished. They also reported that local papers also reported some of the people that were present when it happened. A number of Robertsdale people were on the New Orleans and New York Limited number 4, although the train wasn't bound for New York. Mr. Horde and family were en route for their summer home at Red Wing, Minnesota. Miss Horde was thrown from her seat, somewhat shaken up, and had her face bruised and cut. Miss Fanny was landed under the seat in front of them in such a way that she could not extricate herself and had to be helped out, but was not injured. Mr. Peck was also on the train. Dorothy Baldwin was with her aunt going north. A survivor of the wreck, a Miss Laurel Lovell, was a passenger, and she was in the wreck when it happened out here. She says that she knew nothing of the approaching accident until someone screamed, and then came a sudden lurch, which turned the coaches about half on their side, and the passengers on the upper side were suddenly flung to the lower side. Ms. Lovell happened to be sitting on the lower side and had her baby in her arms when the crash came. She escaped without a scratch. Her husband, Morgan Lovell, hearing of the wreck in the afternoon, speeded to Atmore by auto with his friend Clayton Witt. They found Miss Lovell safe and brought her back to Loxley. She took another start on her journey to Kentucky Friday. Mr. Lovell and Mr. Witt said they never saw such a scene of destruction. The 4 mail and express cars were piled crossways of the tracks. The 3 loaded cars of potatoes were completely demolished, and potatoes were knee-deep in the road. All of Cordis's shipment of sweet corn by express Thursday was also scattered in the street, besides other vegetables and as melons and tomatoes. The packing shed was only a pile of wreckage. The Monitor locomotive lay with its drives in the air, the tender at such an angle from the locomotive that the two made a letter V. The only wonder is that the loss of life was not more. The Fort Morgan train number 126 transferred the injured to Mobile. Conductor Byrne, better known as Daddy Burns, was a real hero in the emergency. Number 126 did not reach Loxley until 11 p.m. Thursday night. Engineer on the train was a John Mullen from Birmingham. He was treated by Dr. McMurphy and by the Boy Scouts here, and he sent a letter back to Atmore that was published in the newspaper. It's on June 22nd, 1922, that says, "Allow me to thank you, your scoutmaster, and your efficient troop for the kindness and courtesy shown me at the Hilberta crossing last Thursday afternoon. Surgeons here, when they learned of my condition on arrival, commented the first and attention given me at the wreck speaks well of our organization," said Dr. Murphy. "Kindly extend to all those who rendered aid or kindness to me heartfelt thanks, and please, if anyone knows if there anyone with pictures of this wreck, I wish to procure some of them. If you ever come to Montgomery, be sure to make my stopping place, as I have a Boy Scout, a boy who is about your age, who is a scout." Thank you for watching this video this afternoon. Please like, subscribe, and share. And please check us out in the Tri-City Ledger, as well as the Atmore